Let's answer the question once and for all. Are Marshmallow Mateys as good as Lucky Charms? Friends, it's time to eat some cereal. Happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to Cerealsly, where we take cereals seriously. My name is Alex, and I eat and review hundreds of cereals a year with episodes every single week in order to help you get the most out of your cereal experience. Today on Cerealsly, we're kicking off a brand new Malt-O-Meal Showdown series that'll pop up every once in a while. Every Malt-O-Meal Showdown is going to try to help you figure out if the Malt-O-Meal knockoff of your favorite brand name cereals is really a better choice. Now, today's Showdown episode, of course, features what I consider to be the granddaddy of all Malt-O-Meal cereals, Marshmallow Mateys. Of course, this is designed to be a direct alternative to Lucky Charms from General Mills. These two are going to go head to head, but each Malt-O-Meal Showdown episode is also going to try to feature a wild card, if it's available, a different generic version of this same cereal. Now, my first instinct was to grab this, Magic Treasures from Great Value, Walmart's home brand. But it was instantly obvious that this wasn't actually different. It's the exact same cereal as Marshmallow Mateys. The marshmallows are the same. The cereal pieces are the same shape. It's the same cereal. Sometimes we don't know who manufactures Great Value cereals. In this case, we know exactly who, Malt-O-Meal, who is actually owned by Post. So because this one doesn't actually count, I had to go with my second option, Millville Marshmallows and Stars, which is from Aldi. Now stick around to the end and I'm going to crown a single winner and let you know which of these is worth your cereal investment. Let's go one by one and take a closer look at the competitors for today. First, of course, we have Lucky Charms itself. Could not be more classic. Now, the theme here has to do with Lucky the Elf and his magical marshmallow cereal. Originally conceived around the idea of a charm bracelet, we now have 8 magically shaped marshmallows here. We've got pink hearts, yellow and orange shooting stars, purple horseshoes, a green hat, blue moon, purple unicorn, a rainbow, and a red balloon. Now, when I mentioned that charm bracelet thing, that was really helpful for me to know because for the longest time, I did not see the connection between these other things and a horseshoe. I don't consider horseshoes very magical, but I do know they're considered a lucky charm. I don't know if that's very different, but to me it was. You may know that the original 4 shapes were green clovers, hearts, stars, and yellow moons. But over the years, those have shifted and been swapped out, and now these are the 8 defaults. This is an oat-based cereal, with additional corn now as well. By the way, the cereal pieces were originally not sugar-coated, but that didn't sell well. They only became popular once they were sugar-coated. I always think that's fascinating. Next, let's turn our attention to the primary competitor here, Marshmallow Mateys. The theme here isn't magic, it's pirates and their treasure. And the marshmallows are all nautical or sea-based. We'll have to look at them when we see them in a bowl. These also have oat-based cereal pieces, but this time with wheat and corn starch added. Finally, let's take a look at our wild card, Marshmallows and Stars. I like that name is exactly what is inside. There are marshmallows and there are cereal pieces that look like stars. Here we've got a magician and he's wiggling his fingers and creating, other magical shapes. It looks like we've got, a blue flower, a rocket ship or a candy corn, and a banana. I suppose those are each as magical as a horseshoe is. Again, we're going to have to double check what these shapes are once we pour them into a bowl. The cereal pieces, of course, are also made out of oats like the others. So here we have our lineup of contenders. Any guesses? Any early faves? In the end, I want to use all of my cereal expertise to help you decide if you need a bowl of Lucky Charms, Marshmallow Mateys, or Marshmallows and Stars. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, you are a natural leader and innovator. Would you do me one more favor? Would you like this video? Maybe even subscribe to the channel or leave a comment with what cereal we should look at together in a future episode? Doing any one of those things would really help me out. All right, I think I am ready. I have got my bowls. I've got my spoon. I've got my trusty 1% milk. And then we have got the contenders for today's Malt-O-Meal Showdown. And I think we should start with the classic, with Lucky Charms itself. Let's pour these in a bowl, see what they look like. Well, let me tell you, these look perfect. When the average person thinks in their mind about cereal, this is the image that they get. This is the ideal, not just of marshmallow cereals, but in a very real way of all cereals. This is going to be very hard to beat. Now, we are going to do a couple different categories and then rank these and then add up who wins the most in the most categories. So we're going to start with just branding and the look of the cereal. We already talked about some of the themes. Each of these has a good red color to it, good design idea, but Lucky Charms is especially strong in that area. The marshmallows themselves are plentiful, and they're very obviously what they're supposed to be. This is obviously a little hat with a clover inside. This is obviously a blue moon, and this is obviously some sort of shooting star. This has got to get a high ranking when it comes to theme. I will say that I think the cereal pieces in this have gotten puffier somehow since I was a kid. Maybe it's the shift in the grains, but I remember them being even heavier and hardier back when I was growing up. Now, what I really want to do is look at them all dry first before we even taste them. So let's pour a bowl of Marshmallow Mateys. All right. Now, these are direct competitors, but seeing them side by side, you start to notice the significant differences here. First of all, let's talk about the cereal pieces. I mentioned that the Lucky Charms pieces were becoming more puffy over time, but take a look at the Marshmallow Mateys. These are some thick pieces. Now, theme-wise, this is very strong. The cereal pieces are little anchors. That fits the pirate theme perfectly. The marshmallows themselves are really not as strong when it comes to the theme. Let's take a look at some of them. I like this one. It looks like it's a dolphin, so that's good. That fits the sea theme. But what is this? Is this a flower? This has got to be a flower, right? I think in their marketing material, they call these doubloons. And that seems pretty weak to me. One that I always think is the funniest is this one, which I think is supposed to be a pirate in a pirate hat. He kind of has like Lego yellow skin going on. Maybe that's what happens if you're on a boat all day. We've got a green, oh, it's a fish. That one's pretty good. That one's really good. Purple sea stars. That looks like Patrick. It's perfect. A purple swirly thing. Well, it must be like a treasure gem, like a jewel of some sort. All right, I think that must be it right now. Let me know in the comments if you saw anything that I missed. So I would say mostly great, with a few exceptions that are a little bit weird. Now let's take a look at the marshmallows and stars. Wow, what a difference. Completely not what I expected. Look at how pale these marshmallows are in here. That is absolutely crazy. The cereal pieces themselves certainly are not too puffy. In fact, they look very generic stars. It really is these marshmallows that catch the eye for being so oddly washed out. What shapes do we have in here? It looks like we've got an M, maybe for marshmallows or magic or something. Again, we've got a rocket ship, a blue flower, or maybe it's a doubloon like the other thing claimed to be. Just some little bits and pieces we've got in here. Something that might be a balloon. Is that a balloon? This thing that is probably a moon, but it absolutely looks like a banana because it's yellow. Look at this. Is this a fried egg? That can't be what they are, but they certainly look like it. Weak. Honestly, look at the difference in vibrancy between these two cereal marshmallows. They're not even comparable. So let's say on a branding and theme scale, we are going to go with Lucky Charms being the winner, Marshmallow Mateys right in the middle, and Marshmallows and Stars absolutely as low as possible. So 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Now let's go for some dry taste test here. Again, let's start with the classic. Let's start with Lucky Charms. Put some marshmallows and some cereal pieces on my hand, and let's try it. Those Marbits in there have a beautiful crunch to them that really matches the grain of the cereal. You can absolutely taste the oats that still remain as the central feature in the cereal pieces. All right, now right afterwards, let's try Marshmallow Mateys. Again, pick up a few marshmallows, a few pieces of cereal bits, and let's try this. Very different. far more different than I expected, especially in one key area, the salt. There is twice, triple the salt in Marshmallow Mateys. That did a little bit of tricking my taste buds into getting a more intense flavor profile from them. So it didn't taste as classic, but it had more of a zip to it that I really liked. All right, while we're on a roll, let's try these marshmallows and stars. Well, they technically are marshmallows and they technically are stars, but they have very little flavor, almost to the degree of their colors being washed out. The flavors are that much more mild in this cereal. Now, I will say, I think it's the fault of the marshmallows. The cereal pieces are actually quite good. You can taste the oats there. They have a good crunch to them. So if there's anything of value in this bowl, surprisingly, it's the cereal bits, not the marshmallow bits. As far as overall taste dry, though, I have got to keep going in the same direction. These absolutely still win, mostly because of the incredible marshmallow taste. Marshmallow Mateys, a close second, especially because it has that very clear added salt zing to it. And then these, once again, a distant third. Come on, Millville. Let's put some milk on these and see if that changes the equation. All right, let's try Lucky Charms in milk. Wow. Boy, that is perfectly balanced. In milk, it brings out even more of the grain taste, which I really like. These couldn't be farther from healthy, but at least I can taste that there's actual grain used in making them. Let's try the Marshmallow Mateys in milk. Wow, that salt will knock your socks off. Back to back, it is shocking how much more salty these are. Usually I would say that's a good thing. I really like the right balance of salt in a cereal. But these, with the marshmallows added, almost have like a Play-Doh taste to them. All right, let's try the marshmallows and stars. Surprisingly good in milk. The cereal pieces really get to shine once they're in milk, and that makes up for a lot of the ills of the weak marshmallows. But I think the decision in this category is very clear, which is that the Lucky Charms are just the perfect blend of the grains, of the marshmallow sweetness. They have a well-developed, balanced taste. Boy, they're just running away with this thing. They can't be caught. I think I could understand someone saying that they like Marshmallow Mateys better, but when they're saying that, they're not trying them back to back, because this is an enjoyable cereal, but it is far more one note than the complexity of Lucky Charms. Who knew? So once again, in milk, I would go top, middle, bottom. Really, the only category that might shake things up a little bit is in the money value category. Purchasing Lucky Charms is a gamble because the price range that you'll find these at is huge. Just the other day, I found a box of Lucky Charms because I had some coupons and I got it for 99 cents. Now that's very rare. These can go up to $5.97 for a normal sized box if you're at the wrong supermarket. Marshmallow Mateys certainly comes in more bulk and will actually reduce the price by almost 30%. That's definitely better value. You can get more Marshmallow Mateys for your dollar than you can Lucky Charms. Millville only continues in that direction and can sometimes be even more of a value. I have seen this cereal on sale for $2, although usually it's more in the $2.50 range. All in all, though, just crunching the numbers, it's very clear that this Millville Marshmallows and Stars is the best bang for your buck. Next is, by about 30%, these Marshmallow Mateys. And then at the top of the priciness scale, especially if you get it on the wrong day without any coupons, you could be paying quite a bit more for the original Lucky Charms. I think all that's left now is to tally up those numbers and to crown a champion. Well, friends, we have done it all. We talked, we ate, we took every facet of taste and texture into consideration, and now it's enough. My final verdict on which marshmallow cereal deserves the crown is, of course, Lucky Charms. By the numbers, this just cannot be beat. It absolutely has the best, most attractive, most thematic branding. It had by far the best taste dry and was also the winner once the milk got on it. It is a classic for a reason. It got the highest combined score of a 13. The next on the list is Marshmallow Mateys. This one benefited from being right down the middle. It could not reach the heights of glory of real Lucky Charms, but it wasn't as pitiful as Marshmallows and Stars. It got a combined score of 8, which isn't too bad, and it certainly takes the crown if we're talking only about value between these two. When it comes to Marshmallows and Stars, I don't have much nice to say. This one was pretty pitiful throughout, especially shocking when it came to the color or lack thereof in the marshmallows. I was excited to see them next to each other because it just proved that these are pretty much garbage. So I think we have proven definitively that Lucky Charms remains on top for a reason. If you want to try any of today's cereal for yourself, you can find the first two at many different stores. But remember, the Millville Marshmallows and Stars, you'll have to look for at Aldi. Now listen, I'd love to spend even more cereal time together, and YouTube thinks that you're going to enjoy the videos that are on the screen right now. So check those out while you're waiting for our brand new episode that's coming up next week. Until then, never be soggy, my friend. Bye-bye.